it's very clear that I like games from like the early 2000s, maybe up to 2015. It's that era of video games that I enjoyed the most, and to this day I still enjoy. There's still like plenty of games from that era that I have not played, and I think objectively this was the best time for video games. And one of my favorite series from that time period was God of War. It's like hands down one of my favorites. It like graphically, musically, story wise, gameplay wise, character wise, I absolutely adore those games. Right? I think they're great. Even today, the PlayStation 2 games I think look and sound great and play great, and there's very little that can compare to them. Those games were good enough that even Sonic the Hedgehog wanted to copy them. You know, so I don't think I need to say it, but I'm going to. There will be spoilers for the God of War series. I know there's some thick-headed retards that are not. They're gonna go spoilers, spoilers. You hear it's in the first minute of the fucking video. If you can't comprehend, sit down and listen in the first minute, then I can't help you. I'm going to be explaining some of the concepts and some shit that happens that are very important to the games. If you don't want to hear spoilers, go play the fucking games. Simple as that. So, as a baseline, I really like the games. And I want to establish right now that I don't hate the new games, right? I hate aspects about them. I hate certain things about them, but I don't hate them, right? Ragnarok makes me angry for like its DEI, sweet baby stank shit, right? But for the most part, I think the game is fine. Is it worth the money that I paid for it? No, it's not. But it's not a horrible game. But there are aspects about it that infuriate me. So I want to, before you comment, it's like, oh, these games are actually really good, and you're just wrong because I actually like them. Shut the fuck up. Okay? I don't absolutely hate the new games. You can go ahead and fuck off, right? But there are very clearly things about the new games that are not God of War. So, like, as a baseline, I want to establish that. The Greek saga, as people are calling it now, the original games, they were fixed camera. I don't want to say isometric because they're not, but they're fixed camera, button mashing action games, right? With violence, fucking gore, brutality. The whole point of the games were to be over the top. That's the core of God of War. It just is. If you disagree, you're wrong. You are actually just fucking wrong. This is what these games were meant to be. Hands down, no debate. This is God of War. Like there's just no argument there. If you try to argue that, you are just wrong. But the only argument you can really have is, well, it's actually Santa Monica's creative vision, and they can do whatever they want with it. Yeah, fair argument, I guess. But you're still misunderstanding the whole point of the series, right? The point is, a man scorned by the gods takes out his rage on them. He gets his revenge, and everything that gets in his way is destroyed, no matter if they're innocent or not. Even people who weren't in his way are destroyed in his infinite rage, right? That's the point of the fucking series, right? That's been the underlining entire point of God of War. A man scorned by the gods, right? A man who, aside from Kratos' story itself, right? One of the underlining themes of God of War is the rejection of prophecy, right? Kratos, in hindsight, right, did nothing but fulfill the prophecy. Like, the God of War timeline takes place in an alternate version of Greek mythology. The destruction of Olympus was assured already. The prophecy was already there, right? And in Greek mythology, normal or in God of War, right, real life and God of War, both are, they have prophecies of which people try to outrun and escape, and they can't, right? The underlining story of God of War, aside from Kratos himself, is the fact that the gods themselves were trying to outrun and outsmart prophecy. And in their efforts to do so, they end up fulfilling it in the first place. The only reason why Kratos was treated the way he was because Zeus was trying to prevent prophecy, right? He took Deimos instead of Kratos, when Kratos was actually the one that he should have taken in the first place. And in his taking of Deimos, Kratos, began to hate, right? So this that's the underlining theme of God of War aside from Kratos himself, right? And you can kind of argue that continues into the Norse games, but I'd argue differently, right? Because for the most part, there's no convoluted shit going on in the Greek games. Something I didn't think about while recording was the fact that their interpretation of fate and prophecy from the Greek games are very different from the Norse games, whereas the Norns are essentially, they don't really predict the future, they just predict people and all that. Like their interpretation of the prophecies and all that are completely fucking different. They've completely destroyed how prophecy and fate work in the games, and now essentially the characters aren't predefined and determined already to do what they've always done and all that. It's just that some of them decide that they don't want to change. It's like nonsense garbage shit where it's like they kind of have fate, but they also don't have fate. It's ridiculous and nonsense, and honestly I think it's fucking bad, and it works to the detriment of the series. It's just these writers don't know what the fuck they're doing with these characters. The Greek games, the prophecy is clear, right? There's no like, well, the prophecy was actually different than what is actually said. It was like hidden information, blah, 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 blah. Like, I thought that was like the most retarded plot point from Ragnarok, is the fact that they suddenly find a hidden chamber that shows the truth of like the actual real Ragnarok, right? And like, I get it, right? Greek mythology was kind of warped for the sake of the games, right? Which is fine. It was at least done in a respectful manner, right? Or as respectful as you can be with these games. It wasn't done for the sake of writing convenience, I guess you could say. Ragnarok is written out of convenience. Almost every single event in Ragnarok is written out and for the convenience of the writers. The characters don't feel right. The story pacing feels very forced and unnatural. It's Marvel movie tier writing, and I think you'll hear that very often in regards to Ragnarok. It's Marvel movie shit. It is like, it's too full of humor at all times. It's I don't like it, right? The writing on Ragnarok was just unacceptable for this game series. But finding a hidden chamber that shows that Ragnarok wasn't actually what was prophesized, and it was actually different. Odin's following a false prophecy. Blah, 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 blah. Like, it's a cop-out. It's a literal cop-out so the developers can, like, write whatever the fuck they want at their own convenience. And that's where, like, the Greek games at least made it make sense, right? The gods wanted to prevent, the prophecy. They take Deimos, unknowingly creating Kratos and making them hate them, right? Sowing the seed of hatred inside Kratos, right? In their efforts to prevent the fall of Olympus, the Sisters of Fate try to destroy Kratos unknowingly, enabling him to destroy Olympus, right? They made it make sense. And not only that, the prophecy involving Kratos is completely fucking fabricated, right? There's no mythological basis for the destruction of Olympus in the way that happens in the God of War games. They didn't take an actual concept from Greek mythology and warp it into something that they could do whatever the fuck they want with. But with Norse mythology, they of course take Ragnarok, which is a cycle, right? Odin. The entirety of Odin's quest for wisdom in Norse mythology is to prevent Ragnarok. That's what he wants: control over the 9 realms. He wants control over everything, and the only thing he can't control is Ragnarok. And in his effort to prevent Ragnarok, he inevitably creates it, right? So the underlying theme of like preventing prophecy, it kind of continues on, but instead of like going with that, they just kind of fucking do whatever they want. It's extremely lazy writing, in my opinion. It's just, it doesn't feel right, and it makes me angry to no end that this company got rewarded for such lazy writing. And I can't really speak because I did pay for that game. Call me a sucker. It's just infuriating to have such good games ruined by this. So, like, getting off of like the story beats and shit, I want to talk about Kratos himself as a character, right? In the new games, he's not Kratos anymore. This is not Kratos. This is like some weird alternate timeline Kratos, and he just doesn't feel right. Now in the 2016 game, which I'm not I don't know what to fucking call it. Kratos is a little more, like his old self. He has bouts of rage, right? And I know the whole point. The whole point is, well, we actually want Kratos to mature as a person. We don't want him to be defined by his old self. Be better, be better, be better. And it's like this new soy fucking Reddit soy fucking thinking, right? Of development, right? And to an extent, I can understand it, right? You want Kratos to develop as a person. But at what point are you making him develop? And at what point are you just destroying the point of the series, right? I would have vastly preferred a spin-off series to God of War set in the Norse games focusing on an entirely new character than to have Kratos completely fucking obliterated as a character. Even visually, I don't really like new Kratos. He's literally just Kratos with more Nordic themed clothing and a beard. That's it. There you go. That's Kratos. Like even visually, I don't like it. But character-wise, they've completely emasculated this character. And I don't want to hear bullshit of like arguing it. Like this is ultimately my opinion, but I think it's ultimately like a part of the grander political agenda that's been going on with video games. You take what is essentially the most masculine, most hyper masculine character in video games of the time period. He is full of rage. He's violent. He is vulgar. He's willing to destroy anything in his path. He will fuck any woman he can. He will destroy anybody he can, and he will do it in the most violent and brutal way possible, right? And you take this hyper masculine character, you emasculate him completely, and you destroy everything he stands for, right? And like, at least with the 2016 game, he feels a little more like Kratos, where like he's like he knows that the gods are no good, right? Inherent distrust for gods. He still has that rage inside him, right? But come Ragnarok, he is so soyed out that this character's unrecognizable. If you were to change his skin and put him in the body of a different character, you would not think it was Kratos. You wouldn't. You really fucking wouldn't. It is extremely fucking frustrating to see one of my favorite characters obliterated like this. And like, getting on to other characters in the Norse games, I fucking hate Atreus. Like it's not even like I find him kind of annoying. No, I never liked Atreus. When I first played 2016 and when I first played Ragnarok, I loathed Atreus. He is hands down one of the most insufferable fucking characters in all of video games. Though hyperbole, I'm not exaggerating, I'm giving my honest opinion. I think he is one of the most annoying fucking characters possible. Because he's got a smart fucking mouth on him. He's got a smart fucking mouth on him, and it pisses me off to no end, right? Like at every single point, he doesn't fucking listen. He's got a smart mouth on him. He is annoying as fuck. He's disobedient. He's just a little fucking shit. And in Ragnarok, it doesn't fucking change. If the whole point of the Norse games is to have characters grow, to have characters change, why doesn't Atreus change? Why doesn't Atreus develop? He stays as an annoying little shit throughout the entire fucking game. He doesn't develop. He doesn't stop being a little bastard, right? And I get it. They wanted to do their little fucking fan fiction of, well, actually, Atreus is really Loki, so it, like, makes sense because Loki's the god of mischief. It makes sense. It's lore. It's canon. I can do whatever the fuck I want with this. It's shut the fuck up, okay? Shut the fuck up. I don't give a single shit. Atreus is not Loki. Guess fucking what, right? Your fan fiction doesn't excuse bad writing. If the whole point of the new games is to develop characters, is to have them grow, to become better, right? Your whole fucking fresh catchphrase in the last two games is, we must be better. We must be better men. We don't have to be what our fathers were, right? If your whole fucking point is to develop, Why doesn't Atreus develop? If you're a new poster boy, I know damn good well the next game's gonna be about Atreus, and it's gonna make me fucking angry. I probably won't buy it for that fact alone. I hate Atreus. I loathe him. He is hands down the worst character in the entire fucking series. Hands down, right? Why doesn't he develop? If this is your poster boy for the series going forward, why doesn't he develop at all? He's still the annoying little shit he started out as. So, getting off of that, let's talk a little bit about gameplay, right? Before I close out this video. So like I mentioned in the start of it, God of War is a third-person fixed camera button mash action game, right? And now with the new games, it's a third-person over-the-shoulder action game. I don't want to say button masher because you actually have to think a little more. I like the gameplay of the new games. That's the only reason why I like Ragnarok. The story sucks. The characters are boring. The characters suck themselves. And, you know, I could give a fuck less about everything else. But the gameplay is at least good. Is it God of War? No, it's not. It is not God of War. Even the violence and they subdued everything that was good about God of War with the new games, right? Objectively. But at least the gameplay is fun. My only real complaint is that they went the open world slop route. But at least with this type of open world, it's more linear. It's not like you're doing a bunch of useless fucking traveling in between shit. And everywhere you go, you're collecting loot. You're getting upgrades. You're getting loot to upgrade your gear, right? You're getting new gear entirely. I will say that at least they make exploring the world fun. They make exploring the world useful. You're not just going liberating outposts and shit for no other reason than to do it, right? It is at least fun to do, in my opinion. I don't mind it, right? Ragnarok, it's a little more annoying, especially since the characters suck. But, you know, at least they keep that gameplay formula that worked in 2016, right? And now you get to explore the 9 realms, right? I'm fine with that. I don't mind the gameplay. It's the only thing that makes me want to play these games to begin with. That is excluding Atreus. I already don't like Atreus. I really do not like Atreus. But come the Atreus sections in God of War Ragnarok, I almost like considered quitting the game entirely and not touching it again. That's how much I fucking hate. How much I fucking hated those sections. They are slow. They are boring. They are not interesting. The story that happens there, only interesting once Heimdall gets involved, once Odin gets involved. Angrboda is not a fun character. I didn't even really want to get into a side tangent on Angrboda, but like I've already mentioned it, Angrboda is not black, right? The Norse mythology was in northwestern Europe, right? Angrboda wouldn't be black. And I also want to mention that Angrboda is the mother of all monsters in Norse mythology. Why the fuck would you make one of the predominant and only black characters in the entire fucking game the mother of monsters? What did you mean by that? Santa Monica, what did you mean by that? But aside from the forced racial diversity in a setting that should not be racially diverse, Angrboda herself is not an interesting character. I find her annoying, less than Atreus. I mean, she's just a young girl, right, with an annoying voice. But for the most part, I can forgive that, right? She's just a nothing character. She doesn't do anything. Her grandmother doesn't really do anything, right? It's just a part of the story that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make me feel anything. It's just a boring section that takes too fucking long. And then come the Asgard section. It's, again, a boring section that takes too fucking long. The Atreus sections are not fun. I do not have fun during them. They are slow, tedious, and boring. The combat sucks and is boring. I don't like doing it, right? I just want to get back to playing Kratos. Now, the last part I really want to talk about in regards to these new games is Thor. Because I take personal offense to how they depicted Thor. Now, I have to state, I'm not a pagan. I'm not. I do not worship these gods. I do not revere these gods. Do I revere what they mean? Possibly. Do I respect the symbolism? Do I respect my ancestors for worshiping them? Yes, I do. Do I think they were worshiping false gods? Yeah. But I'm not going to disrespect them for it. Right? You have to understand that mythologically, Thor is one of the most important deities in Norse and Germanic mythology. We'd have an entire day of the week named after him, right? That's how important. To this day, we still speak his name unknowingly, right? Thor is the protector of Asgard, the Aesir, and mankind. Anytime you needed something, you would ask Thor. Is there not rain for your crops? You ask Thor. Do you have a journey you have to go on? You ask Thor for protection. Are you about to go in battle? You ask Thor for protection, right? Thor is the most, I would argue, the most important deity in Norse mythology. Thor is extremely important, and he was extremely important to our ancestors, right? To this day, the most common trinket you can get in regard to Norse mythology is the Hammer of Mjolnir, right? That is how important Thor is. In God of War, Thor is a whipped puppy. He is obedient to his father at all times. Even visually, in my opinion, I think they did it on purpose. But to depict Thor the way they had, it is the intentional destruction of European heritage, the intentional destruction of our symbols, the disrespectful treatment of our symbols. Thor, in mythology, is described sometimes with blonde hair, but most often with red-haired and a beard. Extremely tall and strong, right? Not an overweight, bloated, disheveled man. Not only that, the only god I think they really depicted accurately in the Norse saga was Odin himself. Odin in the Norse mythology is devious. He is deceitful. He is an oath breaker. He is a god amongst thieves, right? He is at least somewhat accurately depicted in the game, but Thor is not. Thor at many times is butting heads with Odin in the way he treats people, in the way he breaks oaths, in the way he has his followers act. The battle frenzy that Odin is privy to, Thor does not like, right? Thor butts head with Odin very often, and he's willing to call his bullshit all the fucking time. Why the fuck in the game is Thor absolutely fucking whipped by Odin? In my opinion, it comes across as an extremely disrespectful depiction of Thor, especially for hands down the most important fucking deity in all of the mythology. And I think it's intentional. It's that sweet baby ink, we will destroy everything you love, and we're going to laugh at you for it. That's what it comes across as. But generally, I don't really have much I can talk about, aside from what I've already mentioned. If you haven't bought the new games, I don't think they're really worth the money. If you can get them on sale, I recommend it, but $50 to $60 for the games, it's not worth it. For such games that are only good for the gameplay, it's not it, right? I think these games are inferior to their past counterparts in almost every single way, even graphically. God of War 3 to this fucking day looks amazing. It is hands down one of the best looking games on the PlayStation 3. If you disagree, you're fucking wrong. And I vastly prefer the slightly stylized style of God of War 3 over the hyper-realistic God of War new slop, right? I think hyper-realism makes games look worse. I'm like, no hyperbole. I genuinely believe that. It is beyond me how the gaming industry can spend so much fucking money to make games look this shit. So fucking generic, right? And being able to paste a bunch of bright colors everywhere doesn't make your shit look prettier. It just makes your shit look more jarring when it's next to hyper-realistic shit, right? And what makes it all the worse is that they've toned down all the gore. No, none of it. Whenever you fucking, you can't gouge out a motherfucker's eyes and twist his head around. What the fuck? That was, the best fucking part of the original games is the glory kills and the tits, right? Non-existent. But regardless, it's not really much I can add. They're okay games for gameplay, but they've ruined everything that I liked about God of War, and I think they are objectively inferior.
Yeah.